You are not here by accident. Every delay, every heartbreak, every detour, it was all part of a divine alignment you couldn't yet see. The truth is, the moment you stop fighting the current of life and begin to trust the universe, everything starts to shift. You stop chasing and you begin attracting. You stop worrying and you start receiving. The abundance you seek is not something you need to create. It's something that is already flowing toward you, waiting for you to believe it's yours. When you trust the process, the unseen forces begin to move in your favor. Doors open without effort, and blessings arrive without warning. So today I ask you, can you surrender the need to control and allow the universe to surprise you? You cannot hold the wind in your hands, yet so many spend their lives trying. You plan, you push, you fight against what is happening, believing that if you just control every detail, everything will fall into place. But life is not meant to be caged by your expectations. The more you try to control it, the more it slips through your fingers, like trying to grasp water in your palms. The tighter you hold, the less remains. This is the illusion of control, believing that through force you can make the universe obey your will. Look around you for a moment. The seasons do not rush to change. The sun does not strain to rise each morning. The flower does not force itself to bloom before its time. Everything unfolds in perfect rhythm, not because of control, but because of alignment. You too are part of that same rhythm. Yet somewhere along the way, you learn to fight it. You learn to believe that struggle equals progress, that stress equals success. You begin to confuse movement with purpose and effort with alignment. When you cling to control, you build walls around possibility. You close yourself off from the unexpected beauty that life tries to offer you. You may get what you planned for, but miss what was truly meant for you. Control is rooted in fear. Fear that if you let go, everything will collapse. But letting go does not mean giving up. It means allowing things to flow as they are meant to, rather than forcing them into shapes that were never yours to hold. The universe is not random, it is responsive. It listens not to your commands but to your energy. When your energy is tense, fearful, demanding, the flow around you becomes blocked. But when you trust, when you release the grip of control and breathe into the unknown, you align yourself with the current that has always been guiding you. That current knows the path better than your plans ever could. Think of a river. It never resists the stones in its way. It moves around them, it carves through them, and with time, even the hardest rock softens under its persistence. The river never stops to question whether it is moving fast enough, or whether it is taking the right path. It simply flows. And by flowing, it reaches the ocean. This is what letting go looks like. It is not passivity, it is trust in movement, in timing, in unseen wisdom. Ask yourself, how many times in your life did something fall apart only for something greater to appear in its place? How many times did you fight to hold on to something, only to realize later that its ending was your liberation? The things you once tried to control were never lost. They were replaced by something that served your growth. The universe has never been against you. It has only been waiting for you to stop resisting its plan. When you let go of control, a profound peace arises. Suddenly you stop chasing what is not ready and you start receiving what is already aligned. Your mind becomes still. Your body relaxes. Your soul begins to trust again. You start noticing the signs, the synchronicities, the quiet nudges that were always there, but hidden behind the noise of your own resistance. There is a power that comes when you release the illusion of control. It is not weakness, it is wisdom. It is the moment you stop demanding and start allowing. It is the shift from how can I make this happen to how can I align with what is meant to happen. And in that shift you discover the secret that masters, saints and sages have always known. You were never meant to control the universe, only to flow with it. You have been taught to fight for everything, to stand tall, to never back down, to always push harder. From childhood the world told you that surrender means failure, that letting go means losing, that softness means weakness. But what if everything you were taught about surrender was wrong? What if surrender is not falling apart, but finally falling into place? The truth is, the strongest souls are not those who control everything, but those who can stand in chaos and still whisper, "I trust." Imagine the ocean for a moment. No wave fights against another. Each rises, peaks and falls, returning gracefully to the vastness it came from. That is surrender, complete trust in rhythm, in timing, in flow. The ocean does not fear the tide, for it knows it will always return. You too are part of that same natural intelligence. When you learn to surrender, you do not lose your strength. You awaken a greater power that moves through you rather than from you. Surrender is not about giving up your dreams. It's about giving up your resistance. It's choosing to no longer fight the current of life. It's understanding that sometimes when things don't go your way, they're going a better way. When you stop forcing outcomes, you stop living in tension. You allow the natural order of things to unfold with grace. You stop chasing control and begin walking in faith. Think of the archer and the arrow. The archer pulls back not to hold but to release. The arrow's power lies in surrender. The moment the archer lets go, the arrow soars. The same is true for you. When you surrender, you are not losing direction. You are being propelled by something far greater than your limited force. You are allowing life to take you where effort alone could never reach. But surrender requires courage. It demands silence in the face of uncertainty. It calls for trust when there is no evidence to support it. This is where most people turn back, believing strength lies in struggle. Yet true strength is quiet. It is still. It is the ability to remain open even when everything inside you wants to close. It is the patience to allow the unseen to do its work. When you surrender, you step into partnership with the universe itself. You stop carrying the weight alone. You begin to feel supported, guided, protected. There will be moments when surrender feels like breaking, when your plans crumble and the path ahead disappears. You will want to fight, to fix, to control. But in those moments, remember this: when the seed breaks, the tree begins to grow. The breaking is not your end, it's your transformation. The universe sometimes takes away your stability, not to punish you but to teach you to stand on trust instead of fear. When you learn to surrender, life starts moving differently. You start meeting the right people, at the right time. You notice signs that reassure you that you're being guided. You find peace in not knowing what comes next, because you've discovered something deeper than certainty. You've found faith. Surrender turns anxiety into acceptance, confusion into clarity, and struggle into serenity. The mountain does not chase the wind, yet it stands strong. The sky does not grasp the sun, yet it glows effortlessly each day. Strength does not always roar. Sometimes it simply allows. The more you surrender, the lighter you become. You stop being the one who tries to make everything happen, and become the one through whom everything naturally happens. So when life invites you to surrender, don't resist. Let go, not because you are weak, but because you are wise enough to know that fighting the flow only leads to exhaustion. Trust that what is meant for you cannot be taken, and what leaves was never meant to stay. In surrender, you do not fall. You rise higher than you ever could through control. You are always sending a signal even when you say nothing. Every thought, every emotion, every silent reaction is a frequency that travels far beyond your words. You think the universe responds to your wishes, but it does not. It responds to your energy. You can say, "I want abundance," but if your heart beats with fear, doubt, or lack, the universe only hears the vibration of what you feel, not what you say. Your energy is the invisible language that the universe understands perfectly. Imagine a radio. You cannot hear music from a station you haven't tuned into. If you want to hear harmony, you must match your frequency to the channel that plays it. Life works the same way. When you vibrate with worry, you tune into chaos. When you vibrate with gratitude, you align with grace. When you vibrate with trust, you attract opportunities that resonate with peace. It is not magic, it is resonance. You cannot attract what you do not match. Every morning when you wake, the signal begins again. Your first thoughts, your first emotions, they set the tone for your entire day. Have you ever noticed how one negative thought can turn the whole day heavy, or how a moment of genuine joy can make everything seem brighter, even if nothing around you has changed? That's energy in motion. Your inner state shapes your outer experience. The universe is not punishing or rewarding you, it's mirroring you. It's holding up a reflection so you can see yourself more clearly. You are a magnet, constantly drawing in people, events, and circumstances that match your internal vibration. When you carry resentment, you attract situations that keep you bitter. When you carry peace, you attract experiences that keep you grounded. That is why self-awareness is not just a spiritual practice, it's survival. You must learn to guard your energy like a sacred flame. Protect it from negativity, from self-doubt, from unnecessary noise. Because your energy, once disturbed, begins to distort the signal you are sending out. You might not always see it immediately, but your energy leaves footprints wherever you go. Have you ever walked into a room and instantly felt heavy, without knowing why? Or met someone whose presence felt warm and calm without them saying a word? That's energy. You can't fake it. You can't hide it. Your frequency speaks before you do. The beauty is, you can change your signal at any moment. The moment you decide to shift from fear to faith, from complaint to gratitude, from impatience to acceptance, you begin to tune your energy back to abundance. The shift doesn't happen through force, it happens through awareness, through breath, through choosing thoughts that feed your soul instead of draining it. So, start paying attention to what you're radiating. The universe is like an echo, it returns what you send out. If you want love, become love. If you want peace, become peace. If you want success, act with the calm confidence of someone who already has it. Don't chase the vibration you want, become it. That's how manifestation begins. Not from words but from frequency. When you stop trying to make the universe hear you, and instead focus on becoming the vibration of what you desire, you'll see that everything starts aligning on its own. People will show up, doors will open, paths will appear, not because you begged for them, but because you finally tuned into them. Remember, your energy is your message to the universe. It's your silent prayer, your unspoken request, your invisible magnet. You are always broadcasting. So choose your frequency with intention. The energy you send out today will return to you tomorrow, amplified and shaped by your own vibration. Make sure it's a signal of faith, not fear, because the universe always answers in the same language you speak with your soul. Loss has a way of shaking you. It empties your hands, breaks your rhythm, and leaves you staring at what's gone as if a part of you vanished with it. But what if loss is not the end? What if it is preparation? The universe has a way of removing what you've outgrown long before you have the courage to release it. Everything you lose is not punishment, it is clearing. It is life rearranging itself to make space for what is meant to find you next. Think of a tree in autumn. When the leaves fall, it may look bare, even lifeless, but the tree is not dying, it's preparing for renewal. It sheds to survive the winter, to conserve energy for new growth. If the tree tried to cling to every leaf, it would not endure the next season. You are the same. The things and people you lose are not proof of your failure, they are signs of your transformation. The universe never takes without purpose, it only takes to prepare. You might not see it now, but one day you'll understand why certain doors had to close, why certain people had to leave, and why certain plans had to fall apart. The space left behind is not emptiness, it's potential. The same way a gardener clears the soil before planting new seeds, life clears your path before your next chapter begins. It hurts because endings feel final, but they are not. They are sacred pauses between what was and what's about to become. Sometimes the loss is loud, a sudden breakup, a job ending, a friendship fading. Other times it's quiet, dreams that simply stop fitting, places that no longer feel like home. You might fight to hold on, believing that letting go means losing a part of yourself, but holding on to what's meant to leave only blocks what's meant to arrive. Life cannot fill hands that refuse to open. The more you cling, the heavier it becomes. But the moment you release, even through the pain, the flow begins again. It takes trust to see loss differently. Trust that the universe knows timing better than you do. Trust that what's being taken away is making space for something that will fit you better. Something aligned with who you are becoming, not who you were. Often the reason you cannot see what's coming is because you are still standing in the shadow of what has gone. But as you heal, as you let go, as you breathe again, light starts to fill the empty spaces. Remember the times you thought you had lost everything, yet later realized it was the very thing that freed you. The relationship that broke your heart taught you self-worth. The job that ended opened the door to your purpose. The friendship that faded gave you solitude to find your voice. Nothing was wasted. Every loss carried hidden wisdom. Every ending held the seed of something greater. Do not fear the empty spaces in your life. They are not voids. They are invitations. They are the universe saying there is more waiting for you. If you are willing to let go, trust that what is meant to stay will stay effortlessly. What is meant to leave will leave peacefully. And what is meant to arrive will always find its way to you when the space is ready. The art of living is not in holding on, but in allowing the flow of endings and beginnings to move through you without resistance. You are not losing, you are evolving. You are being shaped by the very losses you thought would break you. So instead of asking why is this happening to me, ask what is this making space for? Because every loss clears a path. Every ending opens a gate. Every empty hand is an invitation for something more sacred to be placed within it. Trust this: what you have lost was never meant to stay. What is coming is greater than anything you've had to let go of. Faith is not something you declare once and then forget. It is something you live, breathe, and choose again and again, especially when everything seems uncertain. Faith is not born in the moments when everything goes right. It is forged in the silence when nothing goes as planned. It's easy to trust the universe when doors open, when signs are clear, when blessings flow effortlessly. But true faith begins when you can't see the path, when your prayers echo back in stillness, when the timing feels off and the outcome unknown, and yet you choose to believe anyway. Each morning when you wake, life gives you two choices: to live in fear or to live in faith. Fear demands proof before it trusts. Faith trusts before it sees. Fear asks, what if it doesn't work? Faith whispers, what if it does? Fear contracts the heart. Faith expands it. Every day you are tested not through grand trials, but through small, ordinary moments, when you choose patience over panic, gratitude over frustration, surrender over control. Faith is built in those choices, in the quiet moments where you hold your ground in stillness instead of drowning in doubt. Think of a candle in the dark. The darkness doesn't vanish instantly, but the light endures. Every time you choose faith, even in the smallest way, you add another flame to your inner fire. Over time, that light grows strong enough to guide you through the darkest nights. But that fire needs tending. You must feed it daily, with trust, with presence, with gratitude. If you neglect it, fear and worry will smother the flame until you forget what light even feels like. The mistake many make is believing faith is a feeling. It is not. Faith is a discipline. It is practiced in action, in thought, in patience. It is the quiet strength of continuing to walk even when the path disappears under your feet. When you practice faith, you learn to trust the rhythm of your own becoming. You stop rushing outcomes and start honoring the process. You realize that what you desire may not come on your schedule, but it always comes when you are ready to receive it. Look at nature. The farmer plants a seed and does not dig it up each day to check if it's growing. He waters it, tends the soil, and waits, trusting in unseen progress. That is faith. You must learn to do the same with your dreams, your healing, your purpose. The universe works quietly beneath the surface. When nothing seems to be moving, it often means everything is aligning in ways you cannot yet perceive. Faith is not the absence of doubt, it's the decision to keep walking even with doubt whispering in your ear. There will be days you question everything, when hope feels far, when silence feels endless. But if you stay still long enough, you will notice how life always finds a way. Just as dawn always follows night, clarity always follows confusion. The light never leaves. It only hides until you are ready to see it again. So make faith your practice. When you wake, affirm trust. When fear arises, breathe through it. When delays come, remind yourself. The universe is never late. When uncertainty clouds your vision, close your eyes and remember, there is a greater intelligence guiding your steps, even when you cannot trace its design. You don't need to have unwavering faith forever. You only need to have enough faith for this moment. Because one moment of faith leads to another, and soon your entire life begins to flow in alignment with the unseen rhythm of grace. The more you practice it, the more you realize that faith was never about hoping for what's next. It was about trusting that right now, you already have everything you need to become who you are meant to be. Faith is not something you hold once. It is something you return to every time fear knocks at your door. And when you choose it, over and over again, you become unstoppable. There are moments in life when something strange happens. You think of someone, and they suddenly call. You stumble upon a book that answers a question you were afraid to ask. You see the same number again and again, or the same phrase echoing in different places, as if the world itself is whispering your name. These are not coincidences. These are synchronicities, the subtle language through which the universe speaks. When you begin to trust, when your energy aligns with truth, the universe starts communicating with you in ways that defy logic but feel unmistakably right. You may call them signs, patterns, divine winks, whatever name you give them, they are reminders that you are not walking this path alone. The universe is always in conversation with you. It's just that most people are too distracted, too hurried, too skeptical to listen. But when you slow down, when you breathe, when you choose presence over panic, you begin to notice that life has been trying to get your attention all along. It's like learning a new language. The more you listen, the more fluent you become. Imagine you are standing at a crossroads, unsure of which path to take. Suddenly a song plays with lyrics that speak directly to your heart. Or a stranger says something that answers the question you've been asking in silence. That's not random, that's alignment. The universe doesn't shout, it nudges, it doesn't command, it guides, it leaves clues in your path, gentle confirmations that you are being led exactly where you need to go. But here's the truth, synchronicities appear not when you chase them, but when you flow. They show up when you stop overthinking and start trusting. They are the footprints of divine timing, proof that unseen forces are organizing your reality behind the curtain. Every time you recognize a synchronicity, it's like catching a glimpse of that invisible web connecting everything, your thoughts, your desires, your energy to the greater whole. Think about it. Have you ever been guided by a sudden intuition that didn't make sense, but led you somewhere extraordinary? That quiet feeling, that inner knowing, is the same force that moves through synchronicity. It is how the universe confirms, yes, you're on the right track. Every time you doubt, it reminds you through patterns, through perfect timing, through gentle repetition, that there is intelligence far greater than your mind orchestrating your path. The more aligned you become with your authentic self, the more frequently these moments occur. They multiply when you live in gratitude, when your heart is open, when your intentions are pure. The signs become impossible to ignore. The right opportunities seem to appear out of nowhere. People enter your life at precisely the right time, and what you once called luck begins to feel like divine order. Synchronicities are not just messages, they are mirrors. They reflect your state of being. When your mind is clouded with fear, the signs fade. But when you live with awareness, the universe speaks louder. Every moment becomes a sacred dialogue. Every event a reflection of your internal vibration. What seems like coincidence is actually confirmation that your thoughts are creating ripples in the unseen. When you begin to trust these signs, life starts to feel like poetry instead of chaos. You stop forcing outcomes and start following the rhythm. You begin to realize that there are no accidents, only alignments. The universe does not make mistakes. It leaves messages in the form of patterns waiting for you to notice. When you honor these messages, when you follow their direction with trust, life unfolds with a harmony that no plan could ever replicate. So when the next sign crosses your path, don't dismiss it. Pause. Feel it.